Ao salam tana aina yist erling. Shalom, salamta. Peaceful greetings to my brothers and sisters in the true faith of the King of Kings and His Christ. So we're about to engage in the 48th Sabbath. This is the Friday, August 6, 2010. So we're at the 48th Sabbatical Orit or Ethiopic Torah reading. And this reading is from what is known in the Hebrew as Shophetim or Shoftim. Shoftim, Shophetim. And Shoftim or Shophetim, depends on the varied speculation of the pronunciations, is called, Bamarinya is called Ferajoch or Ferajochin. So this section we've updated our Orit, our sabbatical Torah readings or Orit scroll readings. We've updated it, having both the Royal Amharic as well as the Hebrew. But what we're going to do as we move forward by Yah's will is we're going to also update the Ethiopic, because we know that the Ethiopic is an important key in deciphering the biblical Hebrew. That Ethiopic is that Shemitic language key that was already used previously by the so-called Ashkenazis and some of the Sephardim. They, especially Ashkenazi, they refer to, except of course that they do not give the Ethiopian scriptures its due recognition, but they use it privately, privily, and secretly, and a lot of their older writings actually point to it. But what we're about to point to right now, we're going to get into chapter 16. Chapter 16, which actually was the last part of the reading from last senbet, last Sabbath. And since the Sabbath for us, as Ethiopian Hebrews, the Sabbath for us, it begins on the Friday evening, because the principle of the scriptures that evening precedes morning. So the day and time calculation from a biblical perspective is different than the Western Gentile mistranslation. Because most of y'all will say, well, this is just Friday. It's not Saturday. When people ask, well, when and how is the Sabbath to be observed, there's a couple of fundamental points that we need to understand. The first thing is time. Time. This is why we've been touching on time and chronology, because there's a big issue with time. You understand? Because we're out of time, or we're not in the right time. So we have to get our time right. You understand? And they say that black folks, you know, there's a thing in the black community that black folks are not good with time. Like, we're not really good with time. That's interesting. We're not good with time. So the signs we're not seeing. Some people are blind to the signs. And also time they're not good with. So that's like a double kind of jeopardy because of being under the curse as a people. So coming from that cursed state into the blessed state, the first thing that's important for us is to hear the word. Therefore, the weekly Sabbath classes, or the reading really in the service, is an important personal responsibility that each of us has to become responsible for. So it's our responsibility to bring forward a teaching, the basic, you know, the basic facts, evidence, and information. And now it's your responsibility to maintain a personal responsibility once you receive the Sabbath charts and you get somewhat familiarized that if you want to keep the Sabbath Keddus and holy, this is what you do. That there are Sabbath sabbatical readings from the Orit, as we've explained, from the Nabiyat, the prophets of Nabim, and from the Brit Hadasha, or the Hadith Kidan, the New Covenant. So now, for this week, August 6th, so this senbet, this Shabbat day, for this senbet, we're going to begin with the first bait of the Orit or Torah Parasha reading, and that is from Deuteronomy chapter 16 verses 18 to Deuteronomy chapter 21 verse 9. So what's interesting is that all of this doesn't have to be studied and read. Well, actually, study is study and reading is reading. The first thing we want to do is become familiar with the text. So the first, the basic format, in a sense, and we don't want to limit it to these type of wording, like format. But one needs to understand that there is a template. There is a template of tzadiknet. There's a template for the tzaddik and the tzaddikan, for the righteous. There's a template. And one of the main templates for us who are in the Hadith Kidan, in the New Covenant of the King of Kings and His Christ, is keeping the senbet. Is keeping the senbet or the Shabbat, the Sabbath, holy. But the next important thing is time. When does the Sabbath occur? What is the time? What's the Hebrew time, the biblical time? Because we know that the heathen and the Gentiles have thought to change laws and time, and because there's so much mix-up on the Saturday, Sunday, the whole Saturday, Sunday thing. You know, when is the Sabbath, or which is the right day, and a lot of that mix-up is because of the changing of laws and time. But those are issues that we're going to address elsewhere. But these are very important issues, because this section that we're about to get into for this senbet, for the 48th reading, called in the Hebrew Shoftim or Shophetim, and Farajoch in the Royal Amharic, we had a curiosity, so we went to the Orit Zedagim in the Keddus, and we said, I wonder what it reads there. And this is a little portion of the Keddus from verse 18, where it says, where Shimu Lekamu Fetahite where Sehafite Mebae Bekulu Ahegorikamu Ze where Habeke Egezi Abeher Amlakeke Bebe Negedikamu where Ye Quenine Le His Quenene Sidik. That's from the Keddus. That's verse 18 of this Sabbath reading from the Keddus, Deuteronomy 16 and 18, verse 18. And Amharic, it's Amlake egzi abiher be misetih be agerih dej hulu be ye negadochih farajochnina alek ochin shum le hizbumak in fard yifredu. Now the Targum, or the translation, according to King James, say King James first, this is a section speaking on the judges in the gates. So this Sabbath reading and the teaching, the Timheret that will accompany it, is going to be on, we can name this one, since it's named Shoftim, or Farajoch, or in the Keddus, Fetahite, the Fetahite where Sehafite, which is interesting from the Keddus. Because Fetahite is like the Fetha Nagast. And then the Sehafite is like the writings, like Sehuf. You know what I'm saying? Or Metzahaf. So where Sehafite is speaking to the judges, says judges and officers, the judges and the officers are the, in the Keddus is the Fetahite where Sehafite. In the Amharic, it is the Farajochina Alek Ochin. And now in the Hebrew, let's go to the Hebrew, it's the Shoftim where Shitarim, where Shitarim, some say Shitarim, some say Sitarim. So we have Shoftim where, or the Ashkenazi is that, Shitarim, or some will say Sitarim, depends on whether they want to share it or say it. And the Hebrew, some of the Hebrew Masoretics, the traditional, you know, there's some confusion there, so that's why they work it out with the knowledge of the Keddus and the Ethiopic. And we haven't even gotten into this particular teaching just as of yet, but here's what the word says: judges and officers. This is the judges and the officers. That means those who would judge the case, and those who, the officers, are those who would transcribe, or the scribes. So an officer, according to the Keddus root, the Alek and the Alek Och, the main ability that the Alek Och is supposed to have, are supposed to be able to record. And this is what the Keddus shows us when it says Fetahite wet Sehafite. It's speaking about Sehafite, to write and to record. It says, judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates. In all of our gates, we're to have judges and officers which Yahweh, our Elohim, or Exyari Ram Amlak, giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. This is what we, as a once lost but now found Beta Israel, this is the challenge right now, is just judgment. So we see a link with this particular sabbatical reading for I and I as elect Rastafari and for Ethiopian Hebrews. We see a link with the Fetha Nagast.